DonorsChoose.org is all about bottoms-up, open source approaches to improving our public schools, one classroom at a time. And there are a number of people who actually support microfinance, often in the form of Kiva, and support Donors Choose as well. And I think that's because both microfinance and Kiva specifically and DonorsChoose.org are premised on this notion that people on the front lines can do really smart things with small sums of money. And whether that's a Bangladeshi woman who knows best how $100 could start up a business, or whether that's a teacher in an American classroom who knows best how $100 could help his or her students, the idea is the same, that with a bottoms-up approach, your micro solutions are going to be better targeted and more innovative, more sensitive to the needs of those students than a top-down program. But that said, I think DonorsChoose.org is just one piece. It's the bottoms-up component of the overall picture, which does need to include top-down smart policies. So I don't think we would propose an open-source bottoms-up approach to everything. But I do think that piece has been missing, and in that regard, DonorsChoose.org is really filling a void. I'd have to defer to the policy experts. I'm sort of embarrassed to admit that because I was in the classroom for 5 years and for 4 of those years working on DonorsChoose.org, I don't know as much as I should about the broader field of education policy. But my sense is that No Child Left Behind has imposed some reporting requirements, which are really healthy. So although some of the tests are kind of dumb, and some of the tests may not be a very good capture of students' real learning, nevertheless, it's really healthy for all public schools to be forced to look at whether they're leaving certain groups of students behind, whether they're exacerbating or closing the achievement gap, whether special education students are not catching up. And that requirement, I think, has been really healthy. But I guess I have the same concern with the testing approach as I do with textbooks, and that's that they can be really boring. When I was teaching history, there was this one book. It was called A History of Us by this author, Joy Hakem. I don't even know how to pronounce her last name, but it was the first riveting history textbook that I ever read, and that's because it wasn't written by committee. It wasn't sort of written to adhere to certain regulations. It was this amazing book. And I think just as there actually is one riveting history textbook, there could be a test that is not just written in really dry language by a committee of academics. There could be a test that's interesting, that really does a better job of capturing true learning. And if we could emphasize that kind of quality in testing, then I think I'd be especially in favor of imposing testing requirements across the board.